Do you know somebody who's been hurt and just can't seem to get over it? Maybe somebody's been offended or wounded and they just can't seem to forgive. Somebody who carries this burden of being hurt, being wounded, being offended in some way, have this issue, and they just can't get past it. And it seems like for years and years they've carried that burden and try to live with it, and it affects everything around them. Obviously, their relationships suffer because they just can't move on. Maybe a better way to ask that is not, do you know somebody like that, but to ask, are you somebody like that? Because we're all capable of holding on to hurt. We're all capable of refusing to get over something. We're all capable of going years without dealing with some personal issues and allowing those issues to affect all of our relationships. So on Sundays, we are looking at 1 Samuel chapter 17. We have a 10-week study on this account of the famous story of David and Goliath. And one of the most interesting things for me anyway in this story, in this historical account, is that it took 40 days before somebody finally did something. Now, 40 days doesn't sound like a lot of time, and in reality, it's not. It's a little over a month and a half, right? Or almost a month and a half. But if you think about the context, 40 days of camping out away from your family, living on your own in a tent with probably men and soldiers you may or may not know, and every day doing the same thing over and over and over again. You get up, you eat breakfast, you put on your armor, you gear up with all of your weapons, you leave your tent, you walk down the side of the mountain, and you stand at the base of the mountain and you line up like you're going to fight, and then you don't. And you go back up to your tent, you take off your armor, you put down your weapons, you lay down for the night, you have a sleep, and then you get up in the morning and you do it all over again. That's a lot of work to go and stand and do nothing for 40 days. The truth is that as Goliath was there taunting the Israelites, that nobody was willing to make a move. Nobody was willing to take a risk until David showed up. It's really one of the things that makes David a fantastic defeater of giants, is that he was willing to risk failure. One of the reasons that people get stuck with hurt, people get stuck with offense and just can't seem to move on is it is a risk. It is a risk to try to make things right. It is a risk to forgive. It is a risk to move past what you have become comfortable with, the hurt, the offense, the wound, whatever it is. Well, I would just like to suggest to you today, if you're a person who's prone to hold on to hurt and hold on to wounds, to go ahead and take the risk and move forward. Take a step away from it. Make a phone call and make it right. Send the email. Go make the visit. Whatever it takes, I would just suggest take the risk. Instead of getting up and doing the same thing over and over and over again and letting the wound, the hurt, the offense just be a part of your life, what do you have to lose at this point? If you've been carrying around that burden for a week or a month or a year or a decade, what do you have to lose by trying to move past it, to get some help, to finding a counselor, to asking for forgiveness? What do you have to lose by taking that first step? If it's a burden you've been carrying for years, the only thing you have to lose is, well, you might fail and you'll end up right back where you were. So you really haven't lost any ground. You're not going to make things worse by trying to make things right. So my suggestion to you today, if you're a person who is prone to holding on to hurt, wounds, offense, and just trying to deal with them on your own and not move past them, and to just carry those wounds with you for your whole life, I just want to suggest to you to take one step today that might help you move past it. Call a counselor. Make a phone call and ask for forgiveness. Go see somebody. Journal. Pray. Take one step today, because you literally have nothing to lose, and it might change the rest of your life. It could set you free forever. Carrying hurts and wounds and offenses can be a giant that we invite into our home and learn to live with. All the while, it's destroying us. So today, take a risk. Be like David. Be brave like David, and take a risk. See what happens. See you later.